but unfortunately we cannot connect it here. I think it has something to do with the library, because I demoed it over at Westlake Library and it went on right away. So I'm probably going to skip that one, although I can show you some slides of it. But the real thing is if you could actually hear it and see what's going on.
Where
But
did your mic go on before?
Oh, the cover. Goes right over the mic itself, yeah. Thank you.
so I'm going to talk about the iPad Pro. On day one, I was at the Apple Store, and it had the 32 gigs, but they didn't have the 128. So I said that I thought I would have buyer's remorse if I bought the 32. And when I got home, because it was only $150 difference between something 4 times. And so I didn't buy it there. And then Dan calls me up and says, it looks like Best Buy's got plenty of them. So I head over to Best Buy, and they did have plenty of them. And so I bought the 128, and I'm very happy with it. It's actually fun to play with. I don't think it takes, the only reason I use it a lot, I shouldn't say that. I'm very happy with it, but I'm not working. If you were still working and you had to do something at work with it, I'm not so sure it would be for you. If you do desktop publishing, I'm not sure it's for you. But for reading mail, looking at photos, movies, things like that, which at the end of my presentation, I'm going to show you 4 or 5 apps, or maybe more, that I think will kind of fascinate you. Not that you can't get them on whatever present device you have, but you're going to be surprised how it shows up on the iPad Pro. Okay, you can see up there it says, it's way bigger, yet thinner and lighter than the very first iPad, which is kind of amazing because it's quite how much bigger. It's got 4 GB of RAM. That's the most RAM that Apple has ever packed in any iOS device. The iPad keyboard shortcuts help overcome a lack of a mouse or trackpad support. Not saying that's not going to happen. It's just right now you can't use one with it that I know of. It's the fastest CPU that Apple has ever designed. It does not have 3D touch. If you have one of the new phones, it doesn't do the same thing that you could do on a phone. It's designed for use with a stylus, which is like gold. If you try to go get one, I've been trying to get one for the last 3 weeks, they're always out. When I call them, they say they got a shipment of 10 of them in, they were gone in 15 minutes.
I'd be there at the store opening.
The other day I noticed that when you call the Apple Store, you used to be able to get a direct line to the Apple Store and talk to somebody, and now there's somebody in between. And she said, which store are you after? I said, Crocker Park. And she said, oh, are you in the Columbus area? And I said, no. So right then and there, I knew she didn't answer from Crocker Park store. But I said I was looking for the stylus, which Apple calls a pencil. Runs $99. But she says, let me look for you. So she goes on, and she says, believe it or not, she says there's not an Apple Pencil for the iPad Pro within 212 miles of where you're at right now. So I said, holy mackerel. I certainly wasn't going to. No, I drew the line there. I wanted it for this presentation to show it, but because the stylus actually kind of makes the iPad Pro, which I'll kind of show you.
The Apple Store is showing a 4 to 5 week shipping.
Yeah, I don't know why. I don't know why Apple does it. They'll make 5 million iPad Pros and they'll make 10,000 styluses.
And I did hear that Best Buy has got an inventory of them where the Apple Store doesn't, so.
And I tried Best Buy 2 days ago. They didn't have them either. I don't know.
Go to
That would be kind of odd. I remember
Yeah.
never ever going to Best Buy to get something that just came out on Apple. But to go there on day one and pick one up, I couldn't believe it.
I read it on the internet, it must be true.
Must be true.
By the way, I'm not sure T-Mobile has them, but T-Mobile has a nice deal on it. You can pay over, I believe, 20 months, just $200 up front. It comes to almost the same, but it's only for the top model with Wi-Fi and 4G LTE. So it's the 1079 model, but it comes to $30-some a month after that. And for an extra 10 a month, you can get their program that allows you to upgrade to a newer model when it comes out. So it actually could be a big deal. Maybe in a year they're going to come out with
This is for the iPad Pro?
For the iPad Pro. So I haven't gone
What's
into
the
a
upfront money?
Huh?
What's the
200.
upfront
It costs $200, and then they break it up. I believe
T-Mobile.
over 20 months
The T-Mobile.
at T-Mobile. But you have to have their data plan. Their cheapest data plan is 2 gig of 4G LTE a month for $20. But even when you use that up, T-Mobile's plan is that when you use up the high speed, you're still connected. They just lower your speed. So you're never without connection, even if you've used your high speed. So it's an interesting deal. I plan to go in this week and talk to them, see if they have it, and get the ins and outs of the plan. But interesting.
You can fit 1.5 iPad Airs in its display. It's got killer speakers, which I'll demo in a little while. It has about 10 hours of battery life. It's not hooked in right there. It has a secret future capability that Apple hasn't told anyone yet. And I found it on the web when those companies that take them apart and look at the pieces. It has the capability of reading a USB hub. You know what I'm talking about? Your thumb drives.
No flash devices.
But obviously they can't go in the bottom of it because that's a different connector. But it's just a matter of Apple making the adapter. So when that comes, I think that'll be a big help. It's there.
I believe they have that adapter out already
Oh, I haven't seen it.
I think it's going into the lightning.
for $29.95. I
Wow.
have one at home.
What?
It plugs into the iPad, and it's got a USB connector on the other end.
It's for the iPad Pro?
Yep. That would have the same connector that the regular iPad would have, doesn't
No.
it?
You never know if it has the same
I don't think so,
capability.
because they made this a big deal in the article I read. So if it was already there, I
That's a
would have thought.
software USB you're doing via lightning. It's not the same hardware.
Well, here.
It's not the 1.4, it's not as fast.
Here are the prices when you walk into the Apple Store or you go online. It's $7.99 for the 32. So for $150 more, you're getting 4 times what that one. That's why I didn't want to walk away with that one.
What's the difference in?
And this one here is the one where you get with the cellular service that he was just talking about. That's the 3 colors on the back.
Where's your stand?
And of course, by the time you put it in a case, they stand there 10 minutes and ask you what color you want. You put it in the case and no one ever knows what it looks like anyway.
Just kind of.
The gray one has the black bezel on the front, the other 2 have the white bezel.
Yeah, I think that's the next picture, maybe. I hope. Oh, that's the one I bought. And this is, I don't know, I guess this was online. If you want to get Apple Care, it's another $99. And all you get is that. You don't get the case, you don't get a keyboard, you don't get that stylus.
Get a battery charger.
Okay, and that's some of the benchmarks. And if you notice up here, without going through everything, it's like 6 times more powerful than the Apple AirPod Air, iPad Air. And for the iPhone 6s, it's about double.
It's faster than a MacBook.
Yes, and in their ad, they say that it's faster than 80% of the laptops that are out there right now. That's coming from Apple, so I don't know.
Sam's got a question.
But,
Okay, so what I'm seeing is, by the time you get the pen and the keyboard and the maxed out iPad, you're at MacBook Pro money. And so the question is, it's faster, but does it do productive work as opposed to, I mean, if I want to just surf the web, I can do that on a mini, you know?
Right.
If I'm going to do MacBook Pro stuff, can it do that? Like, will it do?
well, remember, it's running iOS 9, the same thing you have on your iPad at home or your phone. It's not running,
I don't even own an iPad, so I don't know what applications and the power of those applications. Is there good productivity out of this, or?
if
you know-
you're still working and you're into some of those
Okay, so
high-powered one, I would say no.
if you're an illustrator or something, maybe you could.
Yeah, the illustration is
With the
good.
stylus, it's the bomb.
Yeah, I was gonna say, that's where I'll show you that in one of the things.
It all
Well, the
depends
desktop,
what
if you
wanna
get a
do.
pad,
Let the man do the presentation.
It all depends what you want to do. I mean, you can't do Final Cut Pro on it, but it does have iMovie. So it depends what level you want to do certain things at. I mean, some of the drawing programs are sophisticated on the iPad
You
as
want
they
this
are
now?
on the Mac. I mean, I use Photoshop on my iPad. Certainly, it's not as full-featured as the desktop version, and it also doesn't cost near as much. And it has the things I want to do. It does layers, it does all that stuff, and I'm sure with the stylus, the pencil, you know, it would allow me to work probably even better with the, you know, the fine tuning capability that the stylus affords you. I mean, you still have iWork, you can still subscribe to Microsoft, so you can use all those desktop type products. So it all depends what you want to do.